Good evening, folks. Tonight we're going to talk about the way these yards are, Ohio State defense, the Michigan's defense, the way they are from last year, the way they are so far this year. Now, right now, the way things are looking, Ohio State's current defense has only allowed 67 more yards this year than from last year's team. This team has only allowed 2 touchdowns, none in the red zone. And last year's team has allowed 4 touchdowns before the Oregon loss. Now, Texas Tech, now we go to the 2002. About around this time around in 2002, when they were undefeated, they had 1,764 after they played Indiana, which was their 5th game. This year's team is at 1,079, while last year's team was at 1,012 after they played Iowa. That there tells you how good this team is versus last year's team. Now, they gave up, don't get me wrong, they gave up 496 yards against Oregon. So that there will make or break. Now they take on a very talented Illinois team that is literally top to bottom, well coached. Nothing wrong with that team. They are a very talented Illinois team. This Illinois team is probably one of the most high-powered, talented teams you could ever ask for that you'll ever see in your lifetime. I'm not saying this will lose, but go back to the last time they ever actually upset Ohio State was back in 2007 when Juice Williams was under center and pretty much will put the sting on the Buckeyes. 28-21 final score. And since then, it's been nothing but Ohio State taking Illinois down. So, obviously, Illinois is going to be out for blood, but Ohio State's always going to be ready for them because, Ohio State's defense, the only way they're going to do that is if they give up so many yards. And, for a fact, Ohio State's not going to be ready. It's going to be ready for that. They're just waiting for Illinois to pull one of those fast ones, and then they'll stop Illinois in their tracks and probably only give up field goals. I mean, they haven't given up a red zone touchdown this year, and I don't look for it to happen if they continue the way they play. I mean, if they play like they've been playing, I'd look for this to be a very, very unprecedented season like the 2002 season. 2002 season, they finished with 4,492 yards. That's a really good season. Nothing weak about them. Illinois is a very well-coached team. Luke Altmaier came from an SEC school. That guy is nothing weak about that guy. That guy can play. That guy can lay the hammer on you when you're least expecting it. If you don't cover your man like you do, he'll hit you where you're least expecting it. I mean, the Buckeyes, I'm sure, are really preparing for him. I mean, this is going to be just like Oregon, but I don't think it'll be as... They're going to be a lot more prepared than they were last year. And Oregon, don't get me wrong, Oregon is a very good team. No buts and doubts about that. Oregon's was a very good, talented team, but they seem to have more buts about them now. They had 1,508 allowed 1,508 yards during that time last year. So that there tells you just how good this team really is. And then when they played Northwestern in 2002, they had 2,160 yards. They averaged 300 some odd yards per game on total defense in 2002. Now in 2024, it was like 200 some odd yards per game. 274 yards per game, looks like. Or 30. I mean, it all depends how you view it. But Ohio State looks like they're a pretty dominant team. Now, This year's team for Michigan is a little different. They allowed 3,991 total yards altogether. 244 with Fresno State, 389 with Texas, 280 with Arkansas State, 379 with USC, 296 with Minnesota, 429 with Washington, 267 with Illinois, 352, with Michigan State, 470 with Oregon, 246 with Indiana, 127 with Northwestern, 252 with Ohio State, and 260 with Alabama. Now, so far this year, they've given up around this time last year, they had 1,588 yards. This year, they got 1,417. Now, you got to remember, they played Central Michigan, where they gave up only 139 yards, so that there tells you who they played. Now, they got USC coming up, so that's going to prove if they're actually worthy of their name or if they're just another shitty-giggle kind of team. Now, Ohio State is going to show that if they really mean business or not after this next game or so, next few games or so. Same with Michigan. I mean, I look for this to be some talent here. Now, USC, Ohio State's last year gave up 177 against Akron, 99 against Western Michigan, 264 against Marshall, 246 against Michigan State, 226 against Iowa, 496 against Oregon, 273 against Nebraska, 270 against Penn State, 206 against Purdue, 251 against Northwestern, 151 against Indiana, 234 against Michigan, 256 against Tennessee, 276 against Oregon, the second time they played Oregon and trounced Oregon, 341 against Texas, and 308 against Notre Dame. So that there tells you just how good this team really is. Now here's the averages they did in 2002. 372 against Texas Tech, 358 against Kent State, 280 against Washington State, 415 against Cincinnati, 339 against Indiana, 396 against Northwestern, 265 against San Jose State, 340 against Wisconsin, 179 against Penn State, 112 against Minnesota, 341 against Purdue, 358 against Illinois, 368 against Michigan, and 369 against Miami. That there tells you just how good this team really is. Now, they ended up winning every single game in 2002. Every single one of those was a victory. Now, they lost embarrassingly to Michigan, which never should have lost. And they end up pulling off big wins this year against some teams that they should have never lost to. Now, this year they gave up 336 to Texas, 166 to Grambling, 181 to Ohio, 234 to Washington, 162 to Minnesota. That's impressive. Now, with that being said, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.